In the ancient lands of Finland, where the forests whispered secrets to the wind and the lakes mirrored the endless sky, there lived a wise and eternal hero named Väinämöinen. Born from the primordial sea, he was no ordinary man, but a master of runes and songs that could shape the world itself. His voice could calm raging storms, heal the wounded, and even summon boats from thin air. Yet, despite his immense power, Väinämöinen's heart ached with loneliness. He wandered the vast wilderness, seeking companionship in a world filled with gods, spirits, and mortals who revered him from afar. One fateful day, as the sun dipped low over the snow-covered fields, a young and boastful warrior named Joukahainen challenged Väinämöinen to a duel of wisdom. Joukahainen, hailing from the cold northern realms of Pohjola, boasted of his knowledge surpassing even the greatest sages. The air grew thick with anticipation as they faced each other on a frozen plain. The young man hurled insults like arrows, claiming mastery over magic and lore. But Väinämöinen, with his deep, resonant voice, began to sing. His words wove into powerful runes, and the ground trembled beneath Joukahainen's feet. Suddenly, the earth softened into a treacherous swamp, swallowing Joukahainen up to his neck. He struggled in vain, his arrogance turning to desperation. The wise hero stood unmoved, his eyes reflecting the fading light. Joukahainen pleaded for mercy, offering anything in exchange for his life. In a moment of desperation, he promised his sister's hand in marriage Aino, the beautiful maiden of the north, Väinämöinen. Intrigued by the prospect of ending his eternal solitude, agreed. With another chant, he freed the young man from the mire, and the pact was sealed. Back in Pohjola, Aino roamed the vibrant forests, her golden hair catching the sunlight as she gathered berries and sang to the birds. She was wild and free, like the reindeer that dashed across the Lapland tundra. Her spirit danced with the northern lights, unburdened by the chains of duty. But upon returning home, she found her fate twisted by her brother's folly. Her mother, beaming with pride, announced the betrothal to the legendary Väinämöinen. Aino's heart sank like a stone in the icy waters. Tears streamed down her face, freezing in the chill air as she cried out against the injustice. "Why must I be bound to an ancient wizard?" she lamented, her voice echoing through the wooden halls. "I'd rather embrace the waves than wed eternity." Her family dismissed her protests, seeing only honor in the union. But Aino's rebellion simmered within, a fire that no northern frost could extinguish. She envisioned a life of freedom, not one spent in the shadow of a timeless hero. The tension built as she pondered her escape, the call of the deep sea whispering in her dreams. Väinämöinen, unaware of Aino's turmoil, prepared for his wooing journey. He set forth toward Pohjola, his path illuminated by songs that made flowers bloom amidst the snow. The landscape transformed under his magic rivers parted. Birds sang in harmony, and the air filled with an ethereal glow. Upon arriving, he was greeted with respect, but Aino hid in the shadows, her heart pounding with defiance. When they finally met by the shimmering shore, Väinämöinen's eyes softened at her beauty. He offered gifts forged from the depths, jewels that sparkled like stars, promises of adventures born from his runes. "Be my bride," he urged, his voice like thunder softened by silk. Aino met his gaze with a laugh that shattered the silence like cracking ice. "I'd sooner wed the sea," she retorted, her words sharp as a dagger. The old hero persisted, weaving spells of persuasion, but her resolve only hardened. The air crackled with unspoken conflict, the waves lapping at the shore as if urging her onward. In a surge of emotion, Aino turned and fled toward the water's edge, her footsteps crunching on the frozen ground. The climax approached like a gathering storm. Aino plunged into the icy depths, her body vanishing beneath the foaming waves. The cold gripped her, but it felt like liberation. Väinämöinen called out in anguish, his powerful voice echoing across the water. Yet the sea claimed her, transforming her spirit in the Kalevala's mystical embrace. She became one with the depths, her form shifting into that of a graceful fish, elusive and unbound. Stricken with grief, Väinämöinen crafted a fishing line from ancient runes and ventured onto the lake in his enchanted boat. He cast into the abyss, feeling a mighty tug. A shimmering salmon fought with unearthly strength, churning the waters into chaos. His muscles strained as he reeled it in, but as he grasped it, the fish slipped away, revealing Aino's form for a fleeting instant. "Foolish old man," she mocked from the waves, "you cannot catch what the deep has claimed." With a final splash, she vanished forever. Väinämöinen returned to his lands, his songs now laced with sorrow. He had learned that love could not be forced, even by the greatest magic. The call of the deep had granted Aino her freedom, leaving the hero to ponder destiny's cruel twists. The forests whispered condolences, and the sea sang an eternal lullaby. But whispers of greater quests stirred in the wind. The loss ignited a new purpose in Väinämöinen to seek the legendary Sampo, an artifact of endless fortune. Little did he know, this pursuit would unravel wars that shook the heavens and earth. As the northern lights danced across the sky, Väinämöinen reflected on his encounter with Aino. The memory of her defiant eyes haunted him, a reminder that even immortals could not command the heart. He wandered deeper into the wilderness, where ancient trees stood as silent guardians of forgotten tales. The wind carried echoes of her laughter, mingling with the howls of wolves in the distance. In this solitude, he composed ballads of longing, his harp strings vibrating with raw emotion. Meanwhile, in the depths where Aino had vanished, her transformation unfolded in wondrous ways. No longer bound by mortal form, she swam through crystal-clear waters, her scales glistening like polished silver. Schools of fish bowed to her as queen of the deep, and the currents whispered secrets of the ocean's vast mysteries. She explored hidden caves adorned with glowing pearls, feeling a joy she had never known on land. Yet a faint pull toward the surface lingered, a thread connecting her to the world above. Väinämöinen's determination grew. He consulted with other heroes of the Kalevala, seeking wisdom on reclaiming lost love. Ilmarinen, the master smith, forged tools of enchantment for him, hammers that echoed with thunder. Together, they plotted a grand fishing expedition, believing that with enough magic, even the sea could yield its treasures. The tension mounted as they set sail under a full moon, the boat gliding silently over the waves. As the line plunged into the abyss, a fierce battle ensued. The salmon Aino in disguise leaped and twisted, summoning whirlpools that threatened to capsize the vessel. Väinämöinen chanted runes of binding, his voice clashing with the roar of the water. Ilmarinen wielded his hammer, striking the waves to calm them. Hours passed in this epic struggle, sweat beading on their brows despite the chill. Finally, the fish tired, and Väinämöinen hauled it aboard. But in a twist of fate, as he reached out, the salmon morphed back into Aino's ethereal form. Her eyes, now luminous with underwater light, met his with pity. "The deep has freed me," she said, her voice like bubbling streams. "Return to your songs, wise one, for I am home." Before he could respond, she dissolved into mist, merging with the fog rolling in from the horizon. Devastated, Väinämöinen retreated to shore, his companion Ilmarinen offering silent comfort. The revelation struck deep. The pursuit of love had blinded him to the beauty of letting go. He vowed to channel his pain into greater deeds, forging alliances with spirits of the forest and sky. Rumors spread of a magical mill, the Sampo, hidden in Pohjola's icy fortress. This artifact could grind endless wealth, grain, salt, gold, symbolizing prosperity for all. Emboldened, Väinämöinen rallied heroes for a quest. They journeyed north, facing blizzards that howled like banshees and rivers frozen into treacherous paths. Along the way, they encountered guardians of the wild, bears with fur like midnight, eagles with wings spanning the clouds. Each challenge tested their resolve, building alliances and forging unbreakable bonds. Upon reaching Pohjola, they confronted Louhi, the mistress of the north, a cunning witch with power over storms. She demanded impossible tasks in exchange for the Sampo: plow a field of vipers, knot an egg's invisible threads. Väinämöinen's songs unraveled each riddle, his magic outwitting her spells. Ilmarinen hammered the Sampo into existence, its mills turning with eternal rhythm. But Louhi's treachery loomed. As they claimed the prize, she unleashed a tempest, shattering their boat. The Sampo plunged into the sea, fragments scattering like stars. Väinämöinen salvaged pieces, bringing fragments of fortune back to his people. The land flourished, but the full power remained lost to the depths, much like Aino. In the end, Väinämöinen found peace in creation, his legacy etched in the Kalevala's verses. The call of the deep had taught him humility, turning loss into enduring wisdom. Echoes of the Sampo's fall rippled through the waters, where Aino's spirit lingered. She watched from below as fragments of the mill sank, infusing the sea with magic. Fish grew larger, corals bloomed in vibrant colors, and the waves carried songs of prosperity. Aino, now a guardian of these depths, felt a connection to the surface world's struggles. Her freedom came at a cost, but it inspired her to aid those who respected the balance. Väinämöinen, bearing the Sampo's shards, returned to his homeland of Kalevala. The people rejoiced, for even broken, the artifact brought bountiful harvests. Fields turned golden overnight, and poverty faded like morning mist. Yet the hero's heart remained heavy, haunted by visions of Aino's final words. He composed epics around campfires, his voice drawing crowds who hung on every note. Tension brewed as Louhi plotted revenge. From her dark hall in Pohjola, she summoned allies, frost giants and shadow spirits, to reclaim the Sampo. Whispers of war spread, dividing the lands. Väinämöinen sensed the gathering storm and sought counsel from Ukko, the thunder god. Lightning cracked the sky as divine guidance revealed a path. Unite the heroes against the northern threat. The assembly gathered. Lemminkainen, the reckless warrior, Kullervo, the tragic strongman, and others forged in myth. They trained under Väinämöinen's runes, weapons humming with enchantment. Battles erupted on frozen borders, swords clashing with ice spells. Blood stained the snow, but courage prevailed. In a pivotal clash, Väinämöinen sang a rune that shattered Louhi's forces, banishing her to exile. Peace settled, but not without scars. Väinämöinen pondered the cycle of desire and loss. Aino's tale became a cautionary ballad, teaching that true freedom lies in choice. He ventured alone to the shore, staring into the waves. A faint melody rose from the deep Aino's voice, harmonious and content. It brought closure, a silent farewell. As seasons turned, Väinämöinen's influence waned, making way for new legends. He sailed into the horizon, his boat vanishing in mist, becoming one with the myths he inspired. The Kalevala endured, its stories passed through generations like heirlooms. Väinämöinen's wooing of Aino symbolized the clash between eternity and fleeting youth, a theme woven into Finnish folklore. Poets and bards retold the tale, embellishing with details of heroic deeds and tragic romance. In villages, children listened wide-eyed, imagining the deep's call. Aino's legacy lived in the sea's mysteries. Sailors spoke of a maiden spirit guiding ships through storms, her form glimpsed in foam. Fishermen offered tributes, hoping for bountiful catches. The North's harsh beauty reflected her defiance, unyielding pines, relentless waves. Väinämöinen, in his twilight, mentored young sages, imparting runes of wisdom. His final act, composing a grand symphony that echoed across lands, sealing the Kalevala's magic. As he faded, the world remembered. Love's pursuit must honor the soul's freedom. Thus, the story concludes with harmony restored, lessons learned, and myths eternal.